Look at the camera, Sadie. I don't know if this is gonna work. Hey y'all, it's time for another episode of What's Cheering Me Up Right Now? Yay! I've actually been wanting to film this particular What's Cheering Me Up Right Now for a while, or I guess I should say I've been making the list. I've been eking out the list painstakingly for a while. And then every time I was like, I'm kind of overdue for what's cheering me up right now. I was feeling so uncheered up that it just felt ridiculous. So it's kind of exciting for me to actually be doing this because I really do feel today like I can adequately claim that these things have been cheering me up intermittently here and there over the past month or so and explain why. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I feel cheered up enough to be able to, in good faith, film this video. So that's something to celebrate. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Hannah. I'm so glad you're here. I passionately love beautiful things, but I don't want to overconsume them or overspend on them. So I try to keep a balance here on my channel and in my life for me and for you. If that kind of balanced content sounds good to you, I hope that you'll subscribe. I upload a number of videos every week. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. So as I indicated, I've been writing this list slowly over time, and I'm just going to tell you the things in the order in which I wrote them. So I think I started writing the things down about a month. No, it can't have been a month ago because the first thing on the list is wearing lipstick every day. And that's something that I started doing about 3 weeks ago. And I stuck to it, I think maybe for about 10 days or 2 weeks. I stuck to it right up until the point when I couldn't do anything organized anymore because we had packed everything up and we were just about to move, which was about a week ago now. So yeah, I'm gonna claim that it was about a month ago that I started this lipstick project, but we all know that I'm fudging it a little bit. I was doing it for myself and I was recording it on Instagram stories, and all of it together was such a joy. The Instagram stories part was really fun because it helped me to get in touch on Instagram stories on a daily basis. And that's something that I wish I could do. Like, I wish I was a better influencer in that way, or even just like a better participant on Instagram. But I tend to take long breaks. And because I had told myself, okay, you're going to wear lipstick in August, almost every day in August, lipstick instead of like a glossy thing or chapstick or lip gloss. I wanted to like wear my lipsticks in August. And I told myself I was going to do that. And I also told myself that I was going to apply each lipstick on Instagram stories and, post a little link to it and a little boomerang of myself wearing it and make it, a community thing. I think that the way in which this project cheered me up is twofold. I think that part of it is just the lipstick itself. I think even if I hadn't been doing the Instagram part, it would have cheered me up to wear lipstick almost every day for most of August. There's something about putting on a stronger lip, a bolder lip than a gloss or a chapstick can give you. For me, it just gets in amongst me. It makes me feel like I did something for myself in this funny way. I think that, putting on another kind of makeup, like a little eyeshadow, a little more eyeshadow than you usually would, or a little more blush than you usually would, can do the same thing. But I have this funny relationship with lipstick, particularly wherein I crave it. I end up with more of it than I think I need, or more of it than is appropriate to the number of times I tend to wear it, like per week or per month. I'm so attracted to it. And I'm always like, I don't know, clicking through to find out what someone was wearing on their lips in like a YouTube video, for example. The thing that's most likely to cause me to like look in the down box and like click through and see what it is that they're wearing and how much it cost is a lipstick. I feel like, especially with Kat from Beauty News, almost every Beauty News episode, Kat is wearing a lip color that I find to be alluringly tone sophisticated. Like, it'll be a greige, but it'll be just that perfect, like that mwah greige. That's the way I used to feel about Nara's lip colors. I always used to feel like they just had that je ne sais quoi. And these days I feel like that about every lip color that Kat wears on Beauty News. I'm getting on such a tangent right now, but I'm showing you my passion, right, about lipstick. This is how I feel about lipstick. It gets me. It's one of the things that I love the most in makeup. And yet I tend, every time I get to the lip part of my makeup, especially these days during quarantine, I always just like I give myself a little out right at the end, and I'm like, I'm just gonna wear a lip gloss. I'm just gonna wear chapstick or nothing. You know, sometimes I'll just do some other makeup and I'm just gonna lick my lips and go about my business. That's what I do some days. And so I end up leaving off this part of makeup that I really, really enjoy. I've talked about this before and kind of waxed philosophic about why it might be. I think part of it's because I feel like a lipstick can make you look more made up, especially if I've already put on a strong eye. Then putting on a strong lip makes me look maybe a little more made up than I feel like I want to look or than I feel like I am on any given day. I also sometimes think there's part of me that's like, it's a lost cause because I'm just going to drink something or eat something and it's going to wear off. I mean, it is true. It's true of lipstick in a way that it's not true of cheeks and eyes. And actually, I haven't really thought about that side of it until now. But maybe that's part of it. Maybe I'm sort of just fatalistic about how lipstick will go and I just end up skipping it all together. In any case, whatever all of these factors are and however they combine, I have lipsticks that I passionately love, and many of them I almost never wear just because of my personality. So it was awesome. It really did cheer me up to hold myself to this desire, this goal of wearing the lipstick every day, just in my own life, in my own way, in a way that had nothing to do with social media. I enjoyed it because I enjoy lipstick. And by wearing it every day, it was like I was giving myself the gift of products that I already own. I was giving myself the gift of them by giving myself a reason to wear them, like a license to wear them. And that was golden. It was so fun. The other reason that it cheered me up, the other way in which it cheered me up is the one that I've already touched on, which is this social media aspect. It was just fun to share my lip colors with you and get your little, whatever it is when you respond to an Instagram story with, I don't know, heart eyes or something. And then I look on my Instagram and it's like heart eyes, clever comments or quips or people saying things about how they've always been interested in that color, they hated that color, the formula or whatever. It's just good to be connected. It's the side of social media that I think I want to allow myself to admit that it actually is really nourishing during this time of social distancing, and I think that I tapped into that a little bit further than usual during those days, during that string of days when I was wearing lipstick almost every day. The other thing that's cool about it is that at the end of it, when I kind of started winding down with I think I did like 10 straight days in a row, and then I started going like off and on, and I kind of stopped doing the Instagram stories, and then I just let the project kind of fade for the moment, although, I'll probably pick it back up again at some point. But when it started to fade, I was really excited to get back to my glosses. On the first day when I was like, okay, Hannah, like you can let it go now. You can wear a gloss today if you want to. I opened my little gloss drawer and I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, hi guys. Like, how have you been? I hope your vacation was good. I had fun with the lipsticks. Let's do it. And so there was sort of this second wave of appreciation for my own beautiful things that came from having abstained from a certain category of them for a short period of time. And I've done little experiments like that before, and it always goes well for me. So wearing lipstick in the month of August really was one of the things that was cheering me up. I do feel like there were even a couple days there in the middle when it was like the only thing I had going for me in terms of cheering me up. So I'm glad that I decided to do that. Oh my gosh, the second thing on the list, y'all, get ready. Get yourselves ready. The cat wheel. And this is something you will know about if you have been following my Instagram stories, because I couldn't keep from posting about it. But if you haven't, then welcome to really funny footage of this thing. So here's what happened. There's this company called One Fast Cat. Should I go back to the very beginning? No, I think they think the story of my sort of awareness of cat wheels and my history with my thinking about them would be too long for this video. So I'm just going to jump to the fact that I became aware that this company, My Fast Cat, One Fast Cat, makes it's like a hamster wheel for cats, basically. And theirs is just designed exactly to be specifically for cats in every way. I became aware that this company was looking to get cat wheels into the hands of influencers. And I think that for them, it's particularly like just people who have the tools to document the process of like putting it together and having the cat, get used to it, like training the cat to use the wheel, but aren't necessarily like cat trainers or like Uber cat owners who have like these magical Bengal cats who like instantly learn to use the wheel. Just like normal people, but who happen to have like good cameras and stuff. And that's me. So I connected with them and I was like, Sadie wants to be an influencer. She would love a cat wheel. So it came in a big box. I'll actually go ahead and roll the footage of myself putting it together, or I'll roll like a piece of the footage right now. I did take all of this footage of myself putting it together because if we get to the point where Sadie is like regularly using it and we really have enough footage to have documented her entire process of learning to use it and then becoming attached to it, then I will probably make like a whole video about it because I think it would be really entertaining. But we're not sure quite how it's going to go. I will tell you right now what happened. So I got the box in the mail. I put it together. It didn't take very long. It was really easy, very well designed. We started getting Sadie used to it, playing with her around it a lot, and she wasn't scared of it. Like that was what I was afraid of. I was afraid that she was going to be scared of it. Over and over again these days, she's proving herself to be braver than I've ever thought that she was. But she doesn't love at the beginning. I should say she still doesn't love the sensation of being like rolling the cat wheel, like rolling and moving underneath her. But she loves playing with us so much that it's not difficult to get her to like get on it and try and like be on it and be around it and play with us with it. And so we've been working with her to help her develop a sense of fun around it and a sense of interaction and play. Sadie is very, very play oriented, or what are they, toy driven. I think that cats, when it comes to sort of like training cats or helping them learn something, cats fall into two categories. They're either treat driven or food driven, or they're interaction, toy driven, play time driven. And Sadie is like 100% us driven. Like she just wants to play and be interacting with us. So we've been spending a lot of time with her with the toy and the wheel, and she totally associates it now with playtime for Sadie. So she'll like go over to the wheel and sit on it or sit next to it and be like, hey, like let's play. In terms of using the wheel, the furthest that we've gotten her is I'll show some footage. I might not have gotten footage yet of like the best that she's done, because we have gotten to the point where she'll like start chasing the toy on the wheel and run for like 30 seconds or something. Like she'll go and go and go a little bit. And then it's almost like she realizes what's happening and she sits down, and then the wheel goes like, and then it like, slowly she sinks back to the middle. And then she's just sitting there on it. It's really cute. But the first time that we actually got her on it walking, I did document that. So oh my God. Yes. Oh my God, I'm making such an idiot out of myself.
You're doing so good, Sadie.
Yeah, Sadie. Sadie, you're so smart and brave. As you can tell by how I'm gushing about it and like stumbling over my words and going on, it's really been cheering me up. And I think that it's because Sadie has been cheering me up, as she always does. And it's been like a really fun distraction from everything else that we've been doing. And I also think that it helped Sadie with her stress, because even though it was a new thing, we were spending a lot of time with her around it. We were like dedicating a lot of time to her around it. So we were packing, we were cleaning, and she was stressed out. But for the last few weeks of our time in the old apartment, every single day, a couple times a day, we would just set aside a slice of time and devote it to playing with her with the wheel. And I do think that that really helped a lot. And in fact, it made me aware that even if we hadn't gotten the cat wheel in PR, it would have been a good idea for me to set aside some time every day to actively play with Sadie with her mouse and string toy, and just clock off of all of my other work, mentally and physically clock off and just be playing with her, it would have been good. And I wouldn't have otherwise done that. I do snuggle with Sadie a lot and play with her from time to time, but we don't have like a regular date to play. It's just sort of like whenever she seems restless or something. And I think that even without the cat wheel, although we did bring it with us, like it is here in our space. It's one of the things that we brought with us instead of putting it into storage. I think that the lesson that I learned was that it can be really healthy to sort of remind myself to just actively and dedicatedly play with my own little cat regularly every single day, especially during times that are stressful for her. So the whole thing was a real joy. And I'm so grateful to One Fast Cat for sending the cat wheel. It was so fun. And I actually do suspect that Sadie is going to eventually learn that she can run full tilt on it and get her yayas out without, instead of like tearing around the house, which is what she usually does. She like tears back and forth in the room. And when she figures that out, I think that that will be like a whole world of joy for her. So I'm dedicated to continuing to try to train her to the wheel to the point where she understands that she can use it just for running. And of course, I will keep you updated on that. But they say on the website, and the reps from One Fast Cat that I've chatted with have said it does take time. It takes like, I mean, you can't really expect a cat to be into it for like a month or two. So we're going to keep at it for at least a month or two before we kind of decide that we think we know how the cards have fallen, how the chips have fallen of the cards. Oh, my playlist. This is another one that I posted about elsewhere. I did speak at some point in a check-in about the way that the pandemic has affected my relationship with music. And I will now speak on that topic again. In the check in, I did indicate that I felt like it had something to do with, I mean, trauma is too strong a word. That's not what I mean, but like the shock of acclimating to this new reality. And that's for everyone. For me specifically, the shock of acclimating to the specific changes that the pandemic has wrought in my life. It has, I think, unearthed buried stuff. And there's been some surprising stuff. Like, you know how, I don't know if you know, but I am aware, I've been a tango dancer for a long time, and there are a lot of people who dance tango who do body care work, like massage therapy and intense, intense like body work, body therapy of various kinds, rolfing, that kind of thing. There are just a lot of people in my sphere who do that kind of healing work. So I have spoken on many occasions with people about the fact that sometimes certain kinds of body work can unlock something that was buried. Sometimes it is bad stuff, like, digging into the muscles inside somebody's pelvis or underneath somebody's rib cage, and suddenly they just start like sobbing uncontrollably, and it's like something has been touched or released, brought to the surface, and maybe the person doesn't even know what it is, but maybe they do. Maybe they're suddenly like remembering something from childhood or thinking about something that happened that they have long since stopped thinking about, long since repressed. And I think that the pandemic has done that in some ways to many of us. That there are some things that have been deeply buried that have been touched in the way that like a massage, like unknotting, untangling stuff. Things are all being tossed around, and stuff's cut. The silt is being stirred up from the settled bottom of the pond of my life, and I think that that's probably going on for a lot of people. So one of the things that's happened is that I've started craving to listen to music from my childhood, the really great folk music that I grew up with my parents listening to, and also music from even like my other phases, like my teens and 20s. I tend to listen to music for a long time, and then I like bury it. I bury it because it reminds me too potently of the time of life during which I listened to it constantly. And so there's all this great music that I love, like these great musical artists that I love, but I don't tend to like make playlists of their music or sit there and listen to their music, because listening to it reminds me of my past. And so I've been choosing to forfeit the joy of listening to the music so that I can avoid dwelling. I can avoid the sort of nostalgia, the waves of nostalgia that tend to roll over me when I think about that music, when I listen to it. And to get back what I was saying, and I think I did say this in that check-in, something about the pandemic has made me less averse to nostalgia. I've been like more willing to touch those tender parts. And so that has opened up this world for me of reconnection with my favorite music, this door that was kind of closed. And so one of the things I did was to make a playlist. What happened was I made the playlist on Spotify. I shared it on my community tab on YouTube, and then 75 people followed my playlist on Spotify. So people like came over and listened to my playlist. And I was like kind of shy because even though I really love that playlist, and it is something that has been palpably, dramatically cheering me up this month. Like I've been listening to it constantly while we were packing, while I'm cooking. It's nice to listen to it instead of watching YouTube or listening to a book on tape while I'm cooking and packing because okay, I'm going to get like real sort of deep here for a second. I tend to distract myself when I'm doing things with my hands with media that engages almost the whole brain. And I do that so that my mind won't wander, so that I won't think about things that make me feel bad, so that my mood won't drop. And so I have stopped doing what I used to do for much of my life, which is to listen to music when I'm doing those kinds of things, because I've gotten into this point, and this is especially true during the beginning of the pandemic, where I'm worried that if I allow my mind to be free like that, if I just listen to music and allow my cogitation to unfold, that I'll start thinking about things that make me feel bad and that my mood will tank. What I've learned because of the unlocking of this like previously locked door is that the music helps to counteract that. So the music lifts my mood. It makes me feel uplifted. I start moving with it. I start singing a little bit, and my mind starts traveling along with the words of the song. And that helps to lift my mood. And so even though my cogitation is also unfolding, it's almost like the music buffers my thoughts from going to too dark a place. Or it gives my thoughts, or the part of me that's doing that thinking, like a protective armor of upliftedness because of the music, so that it makes it more okay for my mind to go to those places. And maybe this is something that everyone who never stopped listening to their favorite music because they didn't like nostalgic feelings already knew. Like you guys are all out there like, yeah, Hannah, we know that's why that's why we listen to music. That's why it's great. But I had developed kind of a fear relationship with that kind of joy. And it's gone now. And that's really special. And so the fact that that happened has really been cheering me up. The playlist has really been cheering me up. But, and then I'll move on because I've been talking about music in a very abstract way for quite a long time now. I shared the playlist and then I felt shy because I just kind of threw it together. Although I do kind of like it. It starts very like rah, rah, rah. And it even has like a little bit of Nicki Minaj in there. So it starts kind of high energy. And then it kind of, it calms down. So it's fun to listen to, and you need something where you're starting like at a boom, 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 and you're ending up at kind of like a la, 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 and kind of like a zzz at the end. It's nice. It's like a very casually crafted, but I find very uplifting and enjoyable playlist. So I will obviously share the link to that down below, but I think I'm going to make more playlists because making it was also really fun and really cheered me up. I think I mentioned at some point on my channel that I had gone back and watched all of the episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender when it became available on Netflix. I think that's what happened. And that, I don't think that made it into a what's cheering me up right now, but it did really cheer me up at the time. I really love Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated show. If you've never seen it before, I'm so jealous of you that you have it ahead of you to experience. I would love to watch it for the first time again. It is so magical. I really cannot give commentary on why it's great right now for two reasons. One is that my brain is still a little bit scrambled from everything that's been going on. I'm just aware that I'm not at my full powers, and I don't want to try to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender if I can't do it justice. So I'm not going to try. but also because if I did try, this video would become like an hour long because we'd be talking the whole time. I enjoyed watching it so much that while I was watching it, I was like, I could record an entire podcast about this. And I know it's been done before. There are a lot of Avatar podcasts that I haven't listened to. So maybe I'm just a noob who doesn't know what she's talking about. But is there a kind of podcast where you get your recording mic, you start the episode on your own headphones, and then you like talk about your experience watching it while it's playing, and then when someone else wants to listen to the podcast, they play the episode and the podcast at the same time, so it's like you're watching it together? Is that a thing? And if it's a thing, can I do it with literally every episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and will you listen to it? Because I would love to do that. Okay, we must move on. That's not even what was cheering me up in August. What was cheering me up was that I watched The Legend of Korra, which is the sequel series to Avatar: The Last Airbender. I had never watched it before. I tried at one point. I started the first episode and I just couldn't get into it. I think because it's tonally, even though it's the same world and some of the same characters, tonally it is different. It seems like they're dealing with different issues. Even visually it's a bit different. It's not the same, and I think I tried to watch it right on the heels of Avatar and it just felt too different, and I was like, I want more of the same and you're not giving it to me. But I tried again, got really into it, watched the whole thing and loved it, and that really did cheer me up right now. So if you have Netflix especially and you've never seen them before, oh my gosh, your next month and a half is saved. Or I mean, I don't know how fast you'll watch it. Maybe it's your next week. The next week that's ahead of you is saved because you'll be binge watching Avatar and The Legend of Korra. Brief shout out to my clip and hair extensions. I talked about them already in the video that I filmed about our move to this location. They have been really cheering me up because I have, I have hair restlessness. I really want to get a bob. Like I wanted to get like a short bob to here, a blunt short bob with bangs like this, but my hair is just going to grow and grow. This is just how it is. It's going to keep growing. It's going to get really long. It grows really fast. I think I'm going to keep cutting my bangs. I just cut them last night, which is why they're looking so, duncy. So they always look a little derpy for the first couple of days. Got another, I don't know if you've seen this one. There's like a darker green back here. I matched them to my eyeshadow. Okay, so that was the original list. I try to keep these videos like this is my version of a favorites video, but they're not, it's not favorite brand new makeup products that got sent to me in PR this month, which I feel like is what a lot of favorites are. So I don't usually talk about makeup products. I do sometimes talk about stuff like this, if it's like really bringing me joy. But I also try to talk about things that are accessible to you in various ways. So, things that you can watch or listen to or do yourself, like the lipstick and making a playlist of your music, or you can listen to my playlist or things like that. That's what I'm trying to do here. So I don't usually talk about things that are like very specific to me. I feel like even with the cat wheel itself and what it did in my life has really been cheering me up. And also it's just so ridiculous. And it's so fun to have gotten an elaborate piece of PR for Sadie. Like I live for that. But the real takeaway is the fact that having it caused me to set aside specific time just for her and play with her. And that is something that if you have a pet, you can do, even if you don't get a cat wheel, right? So that was my intention with the first list. But I feel like I can't properly end the video without mentioning a couple of things that are kind of me specific, because really and truly the one thing that's been cheering me up the most, I think the reason that I felt like I was prepared now to sit down and film what's cheering me up right now, because I feel like I'm not a liar when I say that things have been cheering me up, is being in this house with Julia and Oliver and getting to interact with them. It's just been a week now. I'm filming this on the day that's a week after the day that was our moving day. So we're still sort of figuring it out, but I already feel calmer and like my mood is elevated. I already am starting to feel my powers of speech aren't returning, but I've started to feel a little bit of mental space starting to blossom in the corner of one brain, and hopefully one brain, the corner of my brain, one half of my brain. And hopefully it will spread, and that mental space is helping me to think about working on some writing. It's just helping me to start to center again. That's been great. I talked about this too in the other video, but it's been cheering me up that Joe's been helping me with my YouTube channel because I'm excited to see what comes of it. It's nice to feel like we're on a team together doing it. And I know him and I know the capacity he has for helping to optimize and evolve systems like this. So I'm excited for that. We've just sort of glimpsed the tip of the iceberg with it, but more is coming, and that's what's been cheering me up. There's like a sense of a future and of change and evolution around the way that I interact with like the work of my channel, and that's exciting. And then lastly, I just had to say that the comments on that video, y'all, like the video where I talked about our move. I mean, I imagine if you are watching this video, then you've already seen that one. Of course, I'll link it in case you haven't. But at this point, it seems like most of you have watched that video. So, it's just a long, chatty, get ready with me about my life decision, my recent life decisions and life changes and some of the context for that. The comments there, I mean, I was nervous about uploading that video if you watched it because I talked about it in the video. You were just so brilliant, incisive, and loving and wonderful. And there's a lot of garbage that comes along with being a content creator on YouTube, like a lot of garbage that gets thrown at you. And that does happen to me, but I have to say that overall, really, this experience has made me aware of how amazing people are. And when I say this experience, I mean being on YouTube at all, having started a channel, doing some kind of social media work, and having a platform and being connected to an audience. I think more than ever in that video, I was just like, you're gorgeous. You're so good. You're so open and special and thoughtful, and that does give me hope in my life, but also just for the world. So thank you for showing up for me. It's time to end this video. We're getting the waterworks are coming out. But thank you for showing up for me in the comments on that video, just for watching it all, for liking the videos, for being here, for being part of my YouTube project. It more than ever at this moment in my life, and specifically the moment in my life that I discussed in that video, more than ever, you are nourishing me. So that has seriously cheered me up. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed this one, and I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself right now so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world. Can you face the camera?